It's always an honor to speak with you, and really I hope to see you in person soon.
You're a really good interviewer. Thank you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mr. Freeman, good to see you again, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well. It is always an honor to speak with you, sir. And you absolutely, I am obsessed with this show. And I got to visit my parents over the weekend and actually got to show them a couple of episodes, and they're hooked. They're in. They're sold.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's great news.
So I've got about 10 questions I'm going to try to burn through. I know we only have 15 minutes, but I'm going to try to cover as much ground as I can. But seriously, it is always an honor to speak with you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Good to be here with you.
So leading off, from The Count of Monte Cristo to The Great Escape to Papillon to Shawshank, I feel like we've been fascinated with prison escape stories for a very long time. So what is it about this very specific act of rebellion that has sort of crossed over into pop culture and become such a great source of storytelling?
I think anytime you get in on a person's or a group's venture, it'll be the same thing climbing Mount Everest. Can it be done? And is the human mind really capable of such ingenuity? These prison escapes, they fascinating for what the people who attempted them or pulled them off went through and how long they went through it to do it. That's heroic. I don't care what kind of criminal you are. If you're in prison, let's say for 30, 40 years or life, you feel like, hey, what else am I going to do? How else am I going to spend my time?
You mentioned the human mind, which is something I wanted to touch on, because I have to say, I am in awe of the creativity and the ingenuity behind so many of these escape attempts. And I have to be honest, I don't think my brain works that way, the way some of these guys pulled this off. What kind of mind do you think it takes to escape a prison like that?
Desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You say you don't think that way, you don't have that kind of mind, but you've never been in that situation. Mm-hmm. So you don't really know to what lengths. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Shawshank Redemption and that moment when Andy took that rock hammer and hit that wall and it crumbled. Yeah, exactly. Do you think he thought about it 1 minute prior to that moment? I don't either. I think that was the moment when he thought, oh shit, look at here. So.
That's exactly right. That's sort of that watershed moment. I've got to say, speaking of Shawshank, one of the coolest things about this series is that you take us step by step through each prison escape. After years of watching Tim Robbins get his own escape from Shawshank, how does it feel to finally actually get your own prison escape scenes?
Well, it's just a job, actually, to tell you the truth. My company, we have a documentary area that's run by James Younger. They come up with these ideas, which are just great fun to do, and it sort of keeps me busy. So, I'm not dedicated to prison escapes or anything like it. But if we have the idea, if the idea comes up, and it's a fascinating idea, as you have said, it's a very fascinating idea, then let's do it. That's the attitude.
And I'm so glad you did. Through 8 episodes, you take us to Alcatraz and Nazi Germany and Belfast, Pittsburgh, and New York. But the Ohio State Reformatory has had their fair share of escape attempts over the years. Is there any chance, if you guys do a season 2, that this series would bring you back inside those walls again for an episode next season?
I think they've demolished that reformatory. So no.
Did you ever, before they demolished it, did you ever find your way back there after filming?
No, not to the prison. I went back to visit a friend and made friends in Mansfield. Mm-hmm. And I remember going back about a year later just to visit him, but not to go look at the reformatory or anything, revisit the prison.
I'm always curious as to how much nonfiction affects fiction. So now that you have submerged yourself in these stories, and in a way you've gotten into the heads of the men who are, so genius that they were able to risk their lives to escape. How does reality affect fiction? How do these true stories maybe make you even look at Shawshank differently?
Well, no, it didn't. I think it gives you another, I guess, another appreciation for what happened in Shawshank, what Andy Dufresne did, and how long it took him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's think for a moment about the escape from the Gulag in Germany with all of those airmen. They dug through sandy soil, 3 tunnels. 3 tunnels. So that's not, we're going to finish this next month, or we don't know when we're going to finish it. But when we finish it, we're going to have to be 100 yards past the fence. It's as simple as that.
Some of the stories are left open-ended, which I really, as a fan of the imagination, I kind of like that, where sometimes the gentleman who escaped Alcatraz, where you don't really know what happened to these guys. Do you like the open-ended and like your imagination to wander, or do you want that definitive ending? Or are you the kind of person that wants to know what happens to these guys?
I'm curious, like everybody else. Number one, did they in fact beat the current? It isn't like a river or anything like that. Those currents in San Francisco, Bay used to live up there. They don't just rush in and rush out. There are all kinds of swirls and eddies and sinks and stuff. So, and that water is really, really cold. So to survive it would take a superhuman effort. And I would be curious to know if anybody did.
You could do a whole series just based on that one episode alone. You have a line in the opening of the show where you say some of the greatest stories start behind bars. I'm curious what sort of stories you heard from former inmates in the years after Shawshank. You often hear Aaron Sorkin talks about politicians coming up to him after West Wing, and David Chase talks about wise guys coming up to him after The Sopranos. Did you have inmates coming up to you after Shawshank?
No, I didn't. I spoke to a few guys who were corrections officers. And they were like us. They're just fascinated by the idea that somebody could do that in some of these maximum security prisons. It's like, I was in there too with them, but it never occurred to me that you could possibly break out of this place.
Time. I think time was such an important factor when you've got, like you said, when you've got nothing else to do and you hit that point of desperation and all you've got is years looking ahead. There's almost an attitude of why not? And
of course, yeah. I mean, what have I got to lose?
What are they going to do? Put me in jail?
Right.
I will never forget the first time I saw Shawshank, and like everyone was left in awe when that poster was ripped down and we saw the hole in the wall. I'm sort of curious, how did that scene strike you the first time you read it? And did it feel special when you were on set?
It felt special when I was on set. One of the things that sets Shawshank apart is how well the acting was, how well the actors took to their situation there. And I remember the moment that we were filming that. Surprise is real. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah. Your face when you look in that hole, I think, is one of the great. You say nothing, but you say everything when in that single shot. Frank Darabont shoots it in such a beautiful way. You propose a question on Twitter the other day. What do you think life was like for Andy and Red after they were reunited on that beach? I'm sort of curious, what do you think their life was like after they hugged on the sandy beaches of Zihuatanejo?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think this was a love story. Uh, and Andy had, we sort of, Tim and I sort of talked about it a little bit. The point was to open up a little joint down there in Zihuatanejo and just lay low and live a good life. And I think that's what they attempted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I do love about this series is, to me, it says that you're able to oftentimes follow your interest. If someone proposes an idea, you think to yourself, oh, that is interesting. It ties to a previous work of mine and I can keep going. I'm sort of curious in terms of how big of a student of history are you? And whenever you've done films based in the past, maybe based on historical figures, how deep down that rabbit hole do you go? Do you how many books do you crack open about Nelson Mandela or whatever the case may be?
Well, I used to be a really avid reader, so I have actually older books, novels, things, because you mentioned Papillon. I don't know how many people could mention Papillon as an escape film, but it was a fantastic book. That's what I know it from. You have to get some sense of what it's like. Now, I would not go and lie in prison for a week just to get the feeling of what it's like to be isolated like that. But you do have to channel some sense of it, of what it's like to be behind bars and have only the liberties that you can squeeze out of a guard, you know, or the system.
I'm talking to you from Chicago right now, and not too far outside our city limits is the old Joliet prison. It was the prison that was shown in the opening scene of the Blues Brothers, and now it's abandoned, and they turn it into a haunted house at Halloween, and you can go do live shots there. And I did a live shot there a few years ago, and they said, hey, just get in the cell, and we'll shut it. It'll be fun. And I said, okay, all right. And I got in that cell, and they slammed it shut.
That door.
And I got to tell you, it does something to your heart, where you almost want to start clawing at the walls like an animal. And I'm just sort of curious if you experience it, knowing I'm shooting a film, I'm an actor, this is a character, this isn't real. Did you experience the same thing?
Yes and no. You know you're an actor, you know you're on a set, you know that, but if you are doing your work, and you're channeling character, then yes, it's visceral. You can feel it.
It's always an honor to speak with you, and really I hope to see you in person soon.
You're a really good interviewer. Thank you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.